Picture yourself walking through a vast labyrinth at dusk. Each turn feels oddly familiar, as though you've taken the same route a dozen times before. Yet you can't quite remember how you arrived here, or why every corridor echoes with the same unanswered question. Why does this keep happening to me? Maybe it's a promotion that forever hovers just out of reach, or a quiet hollowness that no achievement can fill. Whatever form it takes, the feeling is unmistakable. A stubborn knot at the center of your chest, demanding to be understood. Carl Jung would say that knot is no accident. From his vantage point, the events circling your life are neither random nor meaningless. They're messages from a deeper place, signposts pointing toward the truth of who you are. The instant you drew your first breath, you stepped into a silent conversation with the universe. That moment didn't merely begin your life. It imprinted a subtle code, a pattern of symbols, moods, and imperatives, meant to guide you home to yourself. Most of us, however, rush into adulthood like sprinters off the blocks, chasing grades, partners, paychecks. In the noise, those early whispers fade. We start confusing the echo of expectations with the authentic pulse of our own nature. Then one day, we wake up exhausted, wondering why success tastes flat, why relationships feel scripted, why every fresh start collapses into the same old ending. Jung called this the revolt of the unconscious. Beneath the polished stories we tell, an ancient intelligence keeps score. It speaks in dreams, coincidences, sudden surges of joy or dread. Miss the message, and the pattern repeats, louder each time, until you're forced to listen. That's why the same type of boss appears in every job, or the same heartbreak slips into every romance. The universe is patient, but it's relentless. Now, before you label this mystical fluff, understand that Jung rooted his ideas in decades of clinical observation. He noticed recurring images, archetypes, surfacing in patients' fantasies regardless of age, culture, or language. Warrior, healer, sage, trickster. Ancient roles wearing modern clothes. These archetypes aren't outside us, they're woven into our psychological DNA. And here's the revelation. The month, day, even the hour you were born correspond to currents within that archetypal sea. Like the tide beneath a surfer's board, those currents lift you toward certain strengths and push you against specific shadows. Pause. Think about the last time you ignored a gut feeling, only to watch the situation implode exactly as your intuition warned. That wasn't mere hindsight, it was your inner compass protesting misuse. When we override our native energy, trying to be a relentless strategist when we're built to heal, or forcing ourselves into stillness when our essence is movement, we grind against the grain of our own soul. Life becomes friction, and friction becomes fatigue. Imagine instead recognizing the design etched into your birth moment. Suppose you were born during the surge of spring, when pioneering fire charges the air. Your natural state is initiative, leadership, forward thrust. Deny that, and the same vitality curdles into impatience or rage. Or consider a child of deep winter, drawn toward introspection and structure. Pull him into constant social spectacle, and his gift for strategy morphs into cold detachment. The energy never disappears, it simply flips to its darker face. This is why self-knowledge isn't a luxury, it's survival. Jung compared it to switching on a lamp in a pitch-black attic. The ghosts up there don't vanish, but at least you can see them clearly enough to negotiate peace. The moment you identify the archetype animating your life, confusion gives way to clarity. Your so-called flaws become navigational tools pointing toward needs you've overlooked. Your talents stop feeling random and start feeling inevitable, like muscles finally aligned with their true motion. So the question is unavoidable. What current was surging when you arrived on this planet? If you've never asked, the answers are already rippling through your memories. Favorite seasons, instinctive hobbies, recurring dreams. Trace them and you'll start mapping the outline of your original design. Don't worry about astrology columns or pop psych quizzes. Start with your lived experience. Where do you feel unstoppable? Where do you feel chronically drained? Follow that resonance, and the symbols will reveal themselves. Because here's the secret Jung handed us. Destiny isn't a rigid script, it's choreography. The steps are suggested, not forced. Miss one beat, and the music loops until you catch on. When you finally move in time with it, life stops being an obstacle course and turns into a dance floor. The maze you've been circling becomes a mandala, intricate, purposeful, whole. The journey has just begun. Keep your lamp lit and step forward. Step forward and the path begins to speak. Listen closely. Beneath the crunch of gravel and the drum of your own heartbeat, there's a quieter rhythm pulsing just for you. It's the rhythm of your birth season, the signature you stamped on the earth the moment you arrived. Each month hums with its own chord. Some blaze, some flow, some brood, some soar. None are better. They're simply different instruments in a single cosmic orchestra. First, picture the births that ignite like flint struck against steel. Those who arrive in January and April. Initiative sits in their marrow. They volunteer before the sentence finishes and feel most alive at the sight of a blank slate. Yet raw drive can scorch as easily as it warms. Without focus, their flame burns bridges faster than they can build them. Purpose, larger than ego, turns the same heat into forged connection. Then come the souls rooted in fertile soil, born under the steady hours of February and May. Instinctively, they secure, nourish, craft beauty that lasts. They're the calm center in chaos, the hands that remember snacks for the road trip while noting the angle of afternoon light on the dashboard. Comfort is their gift until it hardens into control. Periodic, heart-guided risk reminds them that earth shakes, sprouts, and blooms all at once. Next, imagine windows thrown wide after rain, curiosity sweeping in with the March and June arrivals. Ideas swirl around them like bright petals. Conversation is oxygen, novelty a compass. Yet thin air lies at altitude. Too many horizons can leave them lightheaded, forever starting, seldom finishing. Their medicine is embodiment, selecting one idea and breathing it into muscle until theory passes the test of real life. Turn now to the tides that move beneath words. Those born in July and October sense the emotional weather of a room before anyone speaks. Empathy is native language, and they detect cracks a storyteller hasn't noticed yet. Their danger is absorption, carrying grief that isn't theirs until it drowns their spark. Ritual, boundaries drawn in candlelight, ocean swims that rinse heaviness away, returns them to themselves. Stride into late summer and deep autumn, where intensity smolders behind August and November eyes. Transformation is their chosen sport. If an outdated structure crumbles, they sift the ashes for gold. But intensity without tenderness mutates into domination, over projects, partners, even their own hearts. Softness is their task. Power ripens, it does not rush. Finally, lift your gaze to the expansive skies of September and December. Meaning fuels these travelers. They scan every horizon for patterns that stitch the world together. Yet castles rise on sand when vision floats free of detail. Grounding daily acts, planting herbs, balancing the ledger, returning that avoided phone call, anchors philosophy in lived experience. Notice the pattern. Every gift carries its shadow, every wound its remedy. Suppress one pole and the other rules by force. Hold both and tension turns into usable electricity. Consider Marco, born on a storm-lit night in August. By 30, he'd reinvented himself twice. Startup prodigy, then fitness icon. Outwardly strong, inwardly restless. Whenever success steadied, he torched it and began again. Classic Phoenix syndrome. His breakthrough came the day he realized transformation doesn't always require demolition. He started smaller fires, daily journaling, quarterly sabbaticals, honest conversations before resentment piled up. The archetype didn't vanish, it matured, distilling into mentorship programs that guide others through change without self-destruction. Perhaps your life echoes a subtler beat. Maybe you burst with concepts that never cross the finish line. Dedicate one idea to discipline and watch confidence grow roots. Or maybe generosity slips into martyrdom. Schedule solitude like a standing appointment and feel compassion regain warmth when poured from a full vessel. This is pattern recognition, not fortune-telling. Think of it as reading weather maps. Atmospheric pressure won't dictate where you travel, but ignoring the forecast can ruin the trip. Know the climate of your birth energy, and you'll pack the right gear. Still surprised, no longer blindsided. Try a quiet evening. Phone silenced, lights low. Recall 3 moments when you felt utterly alive, and 3 when you were drained beyond reason. Study the verbs in those memories: building, guiding, exploring, listening. Patterns emerge, pointing to the energy humming underneath. Next, name the toxic twist: impatience, rigidity, flightiness, absorption, dominance, abstraction, and pair it with its built-in antidote: focus, risk, embodiment, boundaries, softness, grounding. That pairing becomes your compass. Test it tomorrow. As you step into work or pick up your child, watch yourself in real time. When the old shadow flickers, invite its opposite quality. This isn't self-denial, it's integration. The warrior learns patience, the healer claims sovereignty, the thinker returns to the body. Over time, the tug-of-war becomes a handshake. You might wonder why this matters amid endless to-do lists. Because ignoring it costs more. Burnout creeping at the edges of vision, relationships stuck in the same argument, dreams deferred year after year. These are interest payments on a debt to your own design. Pay the principal, and the drain stops. Besides, the world is gasping for people who operate from aligned power rather than borrowed scripts. Companies feel it in engagement scores, families in unspoken tension, cultures in rising cynicism. Each person who reclaims native energy becomes a tuning fork, one clear note that helps everyone nearby find pitch. We've charted the terrain. Now we descend into the engine room. Next, you'll learn concrete practices, morning rituals, decision frameworks, body cues that turn archetypal insight into daily momentum. The labyrinth is still unfolding, but the torches ahead are lit. The stairs creak beneath your boots as you leave the torchlit corridor and drop into the engine room of your own life. Down here, gears whir, pistons rise and fall, and every choice, tiny or towering, feeds the mechanism. If the earlier mapping felt abstract, this is where it becomes muscle memory. You'll build rituals, calibrate decisions, and decode bodily signals so your archetypal energy stops sputtering and starts purring. Ready? Let's prime the ignition. Begin at first light. Morning set the metronome for everything that follows, so craft a ritual tuned to your birth rhythm. If you arrived in January or April, roll straight from bed into motion. 10 push-ups, a splash of cold water, then 5 minutes handwriting a single bold objective. Your flame needs direction before it looks for trouble. Born in February or May, plant both feet on the floor, breathe deep into the belly, cradle something warm, and name one task you'll complete and one pleasure you'll savor. Security and beauty are your twin anchors. March or June births feed the mind first. Skim a spark of poetry or science, jot the idea that ignites, then choose one micro-experiment to test before sundown. Curiosity without embodiment is a kite without string. Those from July or October wake with a body scan. Release tension with gentle stretches while soft music plays, then declare the emotional tone you'll carry and guard it like a lantern in wind. August or November arrivals strike a match through journaling. 3 unfiltered pages, no pauses, followed by a 60-second vow that turns confession into action. And if you opened your eyes for the first time in September or December, throw the curtains wide, breathe gratitude at horizon's edge, and outline one tangible task. Draft, call, schedule, so vision meets form. Rituals aren't magic because they're elaborate. They're magic because they're predictable. The unconscious loves rhythm. It settles the nerves and frees attention for deeper work. Throughout the day, choices appear like crossroads in fog. Keep from drifting to autopilot by running each major decision through 3 fast questions. Will saying yes raise my energy or siphon it? Does this choice confront my default sabotage pattern or indulge it? Who else thrives if I follow through? Score 2 out of 3 and proceed. 1. Slow down. 0. It's a detour in disguise. Simplicity slices through rationalization. Rationalization is how the unconscious steals the wheel. Your nervous system flashes warning lights long before a breakdown. Each archetype misaligns in a signature way. Fire clenches the jaw and sparks headaches. Earth sinks as gut heaviness and shoulder tightness. Air scatters into shallow breaths and tingling hands. Water floods the throat and blurs the eyes. Light shadow overheats the heartbeat and fists. Skyfarer spins into lower back ache and restless legs. When a signal flares, don't barrel on. Pause. Name the sensation. Locate the unmet need. Movement, stillness, expression, contact. Then supply it quickly. 2 minutes of corrective action can save hours of collapse. By midday, the world's noise creeps in. Close your eyes for 10 breaths. Inhale 4, hold 4, exhale 6. Picture the symbol that best mirrors your birth energy. A ram's horn, a seedling, an open book, a wave, a phoenix, an arrow. And on each exhale, let its strength flood the body part that feels weakest. 90 seconds, yet practiced daily, it anchors identity beneath shifting circumstance. Nightfall is debrief. While the kettle hums, ask yourself 2 things. Where did I honor my nature today? Where did I betray it, and what gentle correction would have helped? No blame, just data. Reflection before sleep feeds tomorrow's dream factory the raw material for archetypal dialogue. Change often begins with small, stubborn experiments. Sylvia, born under a March sky, spent years sketching brilliant apps that never passed prototype. One dawn she adopted the one-idea rule: circle a single concept and build it by night. 6 months later, her meditation tool reached 40,000 users. Evan, an August alchemist, used to detonate relationships whenever routine settled in. Now, each afternoon he steps outside, breathes, and asks, what small change can satisfy my appetite for depth without burning the house? Divorce papers turned into date nights. Rena, born into July waters, served everyone until migraines dropped her weekly. She learned to imagine a gentle riverbank around her energy and defaulted to, I'll think about it and let you know. Headaches dwindled, compassion sharpened, tiny pivots, tectonic outcomes. Here's the warning most people miss. Alignment isn't about rigid perfection. Skip a sunrise ritual, snap at a colleague, scroll past midnight, welcome to the species. The point isn't never to veer, it's to notice sooner and steer back with less drama. Treat missteps like a pilot corrects drift, calm, continuous micro-turns toward true north. Your disciplines don't bulldoze the maze, they illuminate it, making every twist part of a conscious route instead of a blind stumble. When your engine runs clean, the world feels it. Meetings that once drained 6 people now leave them brighter. Children relax around a parent who's present, not pretending. Even strangers catch the signal. A barista feels seen. A fellow commuter absorbs quiet steadiness. Jung spoke of the anima mundi, the soul of the world, nourished by individual integration. In modern terms, straighten your inner wiring and the grid brightens for everyone. Torchlight flickers against stone as you climb back toward open air. Your morning ritual awaits, decision lenses gleam, body cues whisper their first hints. Soon we'll step from personal mechanics into relational architecture, how tuned energies dance at work, in love, in community, turning private insight into shared evolution. Keep your footsteps steady. The labyrinth hasn't ended, it's about to widen. Step into the widening corridor and notice how the echo has changed. Until now, your work was solitary, tuning gears, oiling bolts, but a single well-calibrated engine means little if the convoy around it sputters. Life is a network of engines, colleagues comparing calendars, siblings revisiting childhood scripts, strangers crossing paths the instant a smile matters. Your archetypal alignment turns truly powerful the moment it encounters another's, and sparks, rather than smoke, rise from the collision. Picture a night sky crowded with stars. Each glimmer is a living archetype, radiating its own frequency. When 2 points connect, a new constellation appears, telling a story neither star could voice alone. Fire meets water and momentum learns to listen. Earth grounds air's ideas into form. Depth-driven August intensity joins December's wide-angle vision and projects leap from seed to skyline. Energies naturally seek complement, not clones. Tension between differences, handled consciously, forges more artistry than uniformity ever could. Bridging those differences begins with clear dialogue. The next time sparks fly at home or work, pause long enough to notice the currents at play. Name your own mode, my fire is flaring, and invite the others, your earth seems to need stability. Shift focus from accusation to airflow. Voice the shared goal that unites you both. Offer your gift first. Fire proposes the bold shortcut, earth produces the risk checklist. Then braid the contributions into one hybrid plan and agree on the next step. Practice this sequence on low-stakes matters, weekend plans, playlist choices, before deploying it during layoffs or wedding finances. Repetition wires trust. Trust absorbs turbulence. Every family, startup, or volunteer crew forms a temporary organism with its own bright side and shadow. Keep the collective psyche healthy by rotating informal roles. Let one person serve as the mirror who gently surfaces the elephant in the room. Another as the catalyst who injects fresh perspective when morale dips, and a third as the steward who protects process and follow-through. When duties circulate, empathy widens, and hidden talents surface. A shy steward discovers her inner catalyst. A loud mirror learns the art of silent observation. Intimacy amplifies archetypes to stadium volume. Background music during dating becomes surround sound after the lease is signed. 2 nightly rituals keep harmony. Just before sleep, exchange a note of appreciation drawn from each other's native energy. Your skyfarer optimism kept our budget talk hopeful. Gratitude recalibrates perception. Once a week, admit one moment you slipped into default sabotage. The partner simply listens, no repairs, no lecture. Shame evaporates in open air and pattern awareness strengthens. Personal growth eventually bumps its head on a ceiling unless it serves community. Choose one arena, neighborhood board, youth club, online forum, and let your tune power flow outward. Flameborn Initiative might organize a charity run. Earth steadiness secures logistics. Aircraft's a marketing message that sings. Water builds safe spaces for volunteer stories. August-November intensity mentors newcomers through doubts. December vision tracks impact metrics and connects to a larger mission. Collective purpose metabolizes individual gifts. The result is not merely a successful event, but a feedback loop of belonging that reinforces alignment daily. Storms will still roll through. Illness, market crashes, betrayal. Crisis compresses time. Reflex replaces reflection. Prepare with a simple protocol. First, move. Discharge primal energy safely. Run, punch a bag, wail into a pillow. Second, freeze. Sit for 5 breaths, tracking sensation without story. Third, mend. Reach toward the complementary archetype. Fire calls water for calm. Earth seeks air for perspective. Borrow their steadiness until yours returns. Handled this way, crisis forges shared myth. The day the team held together, the night the family circled the hospital bed. Eventually the question of legacy appears. Jung suggested individuated souls pour like tributaries into the collective unconscious. Think of legacy less as property deeds and more as leaving psychic clean water. Teach what you've integrated to someone one step behind. Archive your process, journals, sketches, voice notes, so future selves can map their route by your breadcrumbs. At year's end, consciously release unfinished missions into the communal field and trust another archetype will pick up the thread. Legacy isn't immortality, it's continuity. You arrive at a circular chamber open to starlight. Paths once mistaken for dead ends reveal a symmetrical design. What felt like endless looping was in fact a spiral staircase, lifting you each time you returned with new eyes. Engines hum, constellations glitter, and the air smells of rain on stone. The scent Jung believed carried the promise of renewal. Here, at the center, the choice crystallizes. Drift, and the unconscious will keep choreographing lessons through recycled scenes, or dance, fully awake, composing steps with allies seen and unseen, turning private alignment into shared symphony. Draw one breath for your birth energy, another for the archetypes beside you, and a third for the vast design holding every heartbeat in rhythm. Then step across the threshold and let the dance begin.